She took my fiancé, stole my friends, and convinced our whole family that I was envious of her. Do you think that was enough? Oh, don't make me laugh. She had no idea what I was planning for her perfect wedding. So, sit back, because this is the kind of hell she brought on herself. My name is Sam. I'm 26. And as my friend Lisa likes to say, I'm the person who's always on the right path until someone decides to throw me under the bus. And that someone is usually my sister, Amber. You probably know the type. Perfect beyond belief. Amber has always been Mom's pride, while I've always been somewhere in the periphery of her attention. And as if perfection wasn't enough, she's also the textbook definition of a drama queen. My life was finally coming together. I met Tom, a guy who was easygoing, comfortable, and incredibly fun. He was the kind of person who made me rethink everything I'd believed about relationships. And after 2 years, he proposed. You should have seen me squeal with happiness. We started making plans, envisioning our wedding. Everything was perfect, until Amber entered the picture. For some reason, Amber decided that, as a loving sister, she was obligated to help me with the wedding preparations. She was everywhere, like some invisible thread tied her to us. Always present, giving advice, guiding. She practically inserted herself into our lives, and into my personal space. At first, I thought this was genuine care, that she really wanted to see me happy. But it turned out that in her perfect plans, there wasn't any room for my happiness. She started small, giving helpful advice like, it's better to choose another venue, or that color is more suited for brides. Then she moved on to open jabs at my taste and outfit choices. I'll admit, at one point I felt my nerves wouldn't hold. Amber took an unusual interest in Tom. She was supposedly helping me plan the wedding, but all the while she kept catching his gaze. Bit by bit, she became this sort of unofficial bride in our duo. Finally, Tom confessed to me that he had feelings for her, and those words still echo in my head. Since then, Amber spread rumors that I was so devastated over her happiness that I was desperately stalking her. Can you imagine? They were together, and yet I was painted as the crazy, jealous sister who couldn't let go. All of this, orchestrated by my loving sister. After Tom left me for Amber, it was as if the light inside me went out. Everything lost its meaning. I couldn't even look at their pictures on social media. Their every post about how happy they were hit me like a hammer. I tried not to look at their pages, tried not to see their perfect smiles, but they kept appearing everywhere, as if to taunt me. Amber, meanwhile, continued to act like the innocent victim, as if this whole thing was a mere coincidence, and I just couldn't get over their happiness. And the most ridiculous part? She started going around to all our friends, lamenting how uneasy she felt because of my jealousy. Once I overheard her telling one of our relatives, Sam just can't accept my happiness and is incredibly jealous. That sentence felt like a knife plunged into my heart. But apparently her plan worked because everyone believed her. Eventually, they announced their engagement, and Tom's friends called it the most romantic story of the year. And do you know what hurt the most? Everyone thought I was acting like a real snake, trying to tear them apart. As if I couldn't handle the fact that Tom had chosen the better one. Day by day, I was consumed by an anger that tore me apart from the inside. And that's when I realized I wasn't going to let them have their fairy tale. I decided it was time to shatter the perfect world she had so meticulously constructed. If Amber wanted to be the center of attention, then she should understand what that role truly entails. Let everyone see her for who she really is. Amber, our bride of the year. She planned an insanely luxurious wedding. A restaurant with a city view, a designer dress, flowers from some unbelievably expensive florist. You should have seen her. She paraded around like a prima donna, aloof, confident, as if she'd already won. Let her think that. The higher she flew, the harder she'd fall. I started with small things. I decided to chip away at her nerves during the preparations. Anonymous complaints about poor service at the restaurant where they planned to marry, Rumors about the flowers not being up to quality. Nothing major, just little details. Then I came up with the idea of informing some of the guests about her manipulations and schemes that she'd used to steal my fiancé. And you know what? People started to believe it. Soon, the admiration in people's eyes wasn't as bright as before. By the time the wedding was near, I had rallied a few mutual friends who were also fed up with her queenly behavior. Together, we crafted a plan to turn her grand moment into her worst nightmare. This was my personal show. I was going to watch as her perfect reputation shattered before everyone's eyes. The wedding day came. Amber looked stunning, of course. She always knew how to make an impression. The guests gathered. The atmosphere was tense but joyful. She was basking in the spotlight, enjoying every second and glancing at me with an expression that seemed to say, "This must be painful for you." I just smiled back. When it came time for the vows, one of the guests whom I'd confided in stood up and loudly accused her of betrayal and deceit, right in front of everyone. It was perfect. The room froze, people started whispering. Amber tried to explain, but no one was listening. Her perfect wedding was unraveling in front of her. Guests began to leave, refusing to listen to her excuses. In just a few hours, it was all over social media, and by evening, every mutual friend knew. Her world, the ideal world where she was adored, respected, and untouchable, was falling apart. Everyone saw her true colors. Now she avoids everyone who once admired her. And me? I'm just watching her humiliation with a smile.